The review which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a couple of horror fans, in particular Steven Harrold and his friend Kris. It is all the more obvious that they were fans, but had they did other things, like watch something else, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon for many days became a nightmare. The events of these days were to lead to the review of one of the most bizarre franchises in the annals of horror history, the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Hello and welcome to the Ginger Snaps here. We'll be discussing the Texas Chain Saw Massacre franchise for you guys in a very blunt way. I'm your host, Steven Harrold.
I'm Kris.
And in today's video, we're going to be giving you guys our review for the Texas Chain Saw Massacre,
Which was released in 1974, and this October it will be celebrating its 50th anniversary.
And this film was directed by Tobe Hooper. So this is actually not a first for everybody. As you all know, me and Justin had done the Saw franchise, this kind of format, and of course when it comes to the Texas Chain Saw Massacre, I thought of bringing Kris, because Kris is a massive Texas Chain Saw Massacre fan. So Kris, why do you like this franchise so much?
When you're a kid and you grow up to watch horror movies and you see the horror movies and you think, shit, those scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. This was one of them. Believe it or not, it was the sheer eerie talk at the beginning of how in Texas, a deranged killer with a chainsaw. The voice alone just kind of petrified you when you were a kid. And I remember very well every time going to the Blockbuster and you seeing it on the case, it was like, oh, hell no. But then once I started to watch it more when I was a little bit older, I grew to love it. And it's a movie that's now coming up to its 50th year, and it's hold itself together very well. And new horror fans that are coming into the game, who are not as seasoned as both of us, but especially you, it's one of the go-to movies. When you hear Halloween, you hear Friday the 13th, you hear Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw. They all just come one-on-one. And you can't forget Freddy either, but it's basically those four people that you'll always hear come together.
Basically, yeah, when you think of Leatherface, Jason, Michael, Freddy, they're like the Mount Rushmore of the slasher genre.
Even though this one came out first, it's more so...
Yeah, see, that's the thing a lot of people forget, is this one came out before Halloween.
Yeah, 4 years earlier, and, but still, Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of took a back seat for a little bit, because once Halloween came out, then it was the Halloween Frenzy, and then right after that was Friday the 13th, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, and everyone just had different opinions and different, oh shit, where do I go? Like, who do I want to like more than the other? And it's always going to be that game no matter what. You're always going to have those basis of fans, but still appreciate those. Like, I love Texas Chainsaw, but I can appreciate Halloween, especially living with him.
Yeah.
But, like, Friday the 13th, like, Jason Voorhees, always going to be up there, He's just one of those badass characters who will never die. And then Freddy it's Freddy. You can't go wrong with Freddy.
Yeah, and, going back to Leatherface, he's the great grandpa of the slasher genre. So, of course, now, just like Saw, when me and Justin were leading up to Saw X, we were going to just review all of them. So, because it's the 50th anniversary of the first film, it only seems fitting that we talk about the whole franchise, because even though he's a big fan of the franchise, even he knows this franchise is a little bit of a fucking mess. So, with 9 films to date and a video game, 2 video games actually, and featured in Dead by Daylight and a lot of fucking merch, he's a staple. He's a legend. And that's why, with the first film, it's for this franchise, so we have to acknowledge it. So this will be mine and his review of the very first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So now we're going to get into the antagonists, and, the antagonists, the family, the Sawyer family. So we'll start with the hitchhiker. You can take it away with the hitchhiker first.
I think he adds character. I think
God, does he add character?
He adds character. He adds suspense. He's just a fucking
He's unhinged.
Person. He's very unhinged.
That whole thing where he's in the van, I was just like, dude, if I had picked this guy up and he started acting like that within a minute, I'd be like, you know what? Let's pull over and just get him out. Sorry if I'm that judgmental. I don't know if he had a mental illness or whatever the fuck, but I was like, dude, this guy is not fucking right. He's been snorting too much fucking paint.
He's been doing a lot of stuff, but no, I thought he did.
As a character, good enough. Unhinged, good enough. Then you got the cook, which was played by Joe Seadow. Not much to say about him. I mean, he has that classic quote, "Look what your brother did to the door."
Yeah.
He does a fine job, because you don't suspect him at first. No. And then there's the switch.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck, he's just as crazy as they are.
Oh, yeah. But I think he did great, too.
Yeah.
Playing crazy is not easy, as much as you think it is.
Yeah, it's not that easy. Then we got Grandpa, which... There's no fucking way we all thought that guy was alive at first. It took my last viewing of it, maybe 4 years ago, to realize, oh, he's actually fucking moving. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, so he was never fucking dead. I thought he was just a dead corpse the whole fucking time.
No, he just sleeps like one.
Yeah, and the blood of someone just revives him. But you didn't mind Grandpa.
No, I didn't mind Grandpa at all. I forget who plays him, but he wears the most makeup out of all of them.
Yeah, he does. He does wear the most makeup. The family himself, there's nothing wrong with them. They play unhinged very fucking well.
Oh, very well.
Of course, there's only one more member of that Sawyer family, and that is none other than Leatherface, who was played by the late Gunnar Hansen. And he's your character. Take it away.
You think about horror icons and people who played horror icons, and they did it well for how they want to portray it, because you can get a small person to play a big character, but you have to add so much to it and add this and that.
That whole his mannerisms.
Yeah. It's
you can tell what he's thinking without him even saying anything.
Exactly. And it's he was a big guy who had big heart playing this character, because it was not an easy character. If you really went into the special features and whatnot, he was wearing the same clothes for weeks. And he
in that
smelled
Texas sun.
In the Texas sun, and he had dead animal flesh on him for weeks on end, and cast members couldn't even stand next to him because he smelled so bad. So I couldn't even imagine him wearing the same thing for 2 weeks, on and off.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of integrity to just go out there
and then
go through it.
Then you have his look, which you'll notice throughout the whole franchise. His look is similar but always different. Because it helps when you wear the face of a victim. Mm-hmm. It helps, or multiple parts of a victim as a mask. But what people don't fucking know, because I remember being in school where they were like, no, that the Texas Chain Saw Massacre really fucking... I'm like, no, it never fucking did. Then why would it say based on a true story? I'm like, because it was based on the serial killer Ed Gein.
No.
Who's Ed Gein? Well, search him up, and they would, and they're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. He was a fucked individual. But 3 characters were made from Ed Gein. Buffalo Bill from Sons of the Lambs, Norman Bates from Psycho, and of course, Leatherface.
Yeah. And
Leatherface took the instinct of the whole wearing skin.
The cannibalism,
and also wearing, like, because he found a graphic shit, sorry guys, but they found a bodysuit made of human flesh. So yeah, there's that. But his look was iconic.
Oh yeah.
It's still an iconic look. Whether it's the first mask you see or the maid,
beautiful lady,
pretty lady, pretty woman. There we go. It didn't matter. He had 3 fucking masks, and all of them looked good.
And they were all based on how he felt. Like when it was time to like kill, he put on his normal mask. Mm-hmm. But like when he was playing like mother. Like the mother figure.
Yeah, like cooking and
cleaning, he has the apron on and the pretty lady mask on. It was just well done.
And of course, he has his chainsaw, and that became the look to finish it all off. It's amazing. He has 2 well-known established attires in this movie. He has the t-shirt, the dress t-shirt, and the tie with the apron, and then him in the suit. Yeah. And both, it's like, it doesn't matter who you cosplay as. It's someone like, oh, Leatherface.
Yeah, 100%.
So, Gunnar Hansen, we can just say it right now, Gunnar Hansen did play the best version of Leatherface, and he was the first.
Yeah.
So that foundation was already laid. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to Leatherface, no fucking complaints whatsoever.
No, at all.
Gunnar Hansen understood that character.
He did.
And we praise him for it.
Absolutely. So, like, with the gore in the movie, where do you stand as, like, the most pivotal part of the gore? Like, where it started?
The thing about the gore in this movie is, like, I remember a lot of people still say to this day, it's one of the goriest horror movies ever made. It's like, it's barely gory. There's barely blood in this. If there's a gory scene, like, the goriest scene in the whole entire movie, I'd have to say it's when we get introduced to Leatherface, when he hits Kirk with that sledgehammer.
Oh, and he's twitching on the floor.
Yeah, that's the most gore you get. I mean, like, there's Franklin, who's getting the chainsaw.
But you don't really see it.
No, you don't see it. Then you see Kirk's dead body getting cut up with the chainsaw. I mean, even Disco Stu fucking got hit in the head with a sledgehammer, but after Disco Stu gets hit, you don't see him again.
No.
It's like, oh, he's just down for the count.
And then Pam getting hooked and then thrown in the freezer.
Yeah.
But, like, getting hooked is... It's gory in its own way, but it's like...
We don't see... we don't see blood in this movie.
No, not as much as you would think.
I think the only reason why people say it's gory, it's because it's like, well, you're imagining what's happening. Like, oh yeah, he's doing this with the saw. It's like, yeah, he's cutting his fucking head off. Mm-hmm. That's gory in thought process, but when it comes to the picture, you don't see it.
No. Especially when she's hanging there watching it happen.
Yeah, and especially, like, you don't see the hook go into the spine or nothing like that. So, no. I mean, the hitchhiker's death getting run over by that semi.
Yeah.
That was gory. Leatherface cutting his own leg.
Yeah.
A little bit gory. But, yeah, when it comes to the
Shout out to the truck driver, by the way, the Black Dahlia.
Yeah. The thing about the gore is, like, less is more.
Exactly.
I mean, Halloween did the same thing. The first Halloween, there was barely any fucking gore. Barely any blood.
Barely any blood in the second one, too, if you really think about it.
Yeah. So, when it comes to the gore and the kills are memorable. But when it comes to the gore, it's like, you don't need, like... Modern horror movies, you don't need so much fucking gore to make your horror movie. Just ask the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. They did it perfectly.
Yeah.
all the scenes that were your favorite, which is it? What's your favorite scene?
Oh, it's as many people will think, and when they watch the movie, and just how perfect it was done. It's the very end scene where he does the spin.
Oh, the little chainsaw dancing.
Yeah, because
he's just basically just enraged.
He's enraged. He's pissed off, and he's just like spinning a 60-pound chainsaw around.
Yeah,
and it just actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, because one got away.
Yeah.
Well, technically, 2 people got away. That truck driver got away too. My favorite scene in the whole movie would probably be the chase through the woods and then throughout the house.
Okay, yeah.
That would be my favorite scene. But one of the most underrated scenes or memorable scenes is the dinner table.
Yeah.
That scene is iconic because of how batshit crazy it is.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And, you see them conversing with her. She's screaming, and we got the camera zooming into her eyeball and everything like that. And you got all the paraphernalia on the table with the armadillo and chicken and everything. There's a lot of iconic scenes in this movie. And when people say, like, oh, this is my favorite scene, this is my favorite scene, this is my favorite scene, it's like, yeah, no, that was a good scene. Mm-hmm. So, when it comes to our rating, of course, we're going to have 2 different ratings for this. For me, it's a movie after 50 years has still held up. It's still a classic. Leatherface became an icon because of it. My only flaws with the movie is obviously Franklin. Less is more when it comes to the gore and the kills and everything, which is fine. But I wish, the pacing was maybe a little bit better, because we do spend a little too much time with them getting to a fucking house. And, oh yeah, we never even did talk about the guy with the big-ass fucking forehead. Never did talk about him, but yeah, that guy was fucking... Every time we see him, I'm like, that big-ass forehead. But if I had to give this film a rating, because, being the first 50th anniversary, and it's still one of the movies in the franchise I still like to watch, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, that's a good rating, and like you said a lot, that's all completely true. And for me, I wish the characters were more involved. Sally and Franklin being like the main characters.
Sally, Franklin, and then you got the Sawyer family. Yeah. The Leatherface. It's the other Pam, Terry, and Kirk.
Yeah, if they were utilized just a little bit more, it would have been a lot. Because people tend to go towards a character and they like a character. It's like not many people go for the main character. There's always like that side character that they all.
When you think about this movie, I feel like when you think of Texas Chain Saw Massacre, there's never really a main character. It's always the family.
It's always the family. Saw his family.
Yeah, Saw his family. So what would you give it as a rating?
I would give it a 8 out of 10. And I think that's a fair rating.
So what do you guys think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, make sure you give it the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can get notified about all the other videos coming out on this channel in regards to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. I'm going to shorten this to TCM, because that's too long to say. So anyways, guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. My name is Steven.
And I'm Kris.
And I will talk to you guys later. And remember...
Saw his family.